Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are recording very early. It is an early Sunday shift.
Mhm.
Tanya hooked me up because my life is very boom, boom, boom right now, preparing to go to Texas for the holidays. And I'm going to see Wicked double
Woohoo.
feature today. So we're going to see both back to back. And so
Ooh.
Tanya was kind enough to get up at 7 a.m. her time and record with me. Tanya is the MVP. We always do performer of the week, but MVP of the week is Tanya.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so it is early and I'm awake and we're gonna do this. GH was very exciting this week, so
That's
I'm glad
right.
we are able to accommodate because there's so much to reflect
I
on.
got so much I want to talk about,
Right.
and I might miss some things because, unlike me, yet again this week, so it's 2 weeks in a row, I did not rewatch.
Mhm.
So if I'm, fill us in the comments, Tanya, check me when I'm not right. But anyway, make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend about Sunday Shift. We are like growing. More of y'all are like listening to us on like the podcast apps. We appreciate that. Make sure that you send us like that fan mail so we can at least get comments from you.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Oh, and thank you for buying us coffees this week. We definitely want to thank Jen, Janice, and Chris. And then also to everyone who sent me condolences on my aunt. So many people reached out, and I just felt really, really touched by that. I didn't know that when we started recording, we would make such a community of people who cared for us and for each other. And so, just thank you for that. Um, Tanya, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. One of the things that I'm doing at work is organizing a toy drive. So
Oh,
all the employees of BART, each director every year gets to choose a nonprofit that they want to support within their district. And so this year is my area's turn, and we chose this organization in Concord. And so all the employees donate a toy. All those who can and
yeah,
participate donate a toy, and then we give the toys to the organization. And so this year we're supporting an organization that serves young children with special needs, whether there's trauma or mental health support, and just getting them ready to enter the world to go to school. And so,
right.
yeah, so this is really exciting. And so that's been my work focus for the week. But also last night, I actually went out as well. I went to see the Bald Brothers, which is Kevin on
Oh,
stage
yeah,
and Tony Baker, and they were in Oakland. And it's
we
a
love
really
them.
yeah, it's a really good show. If you guys get a chance to see them on tour, they do this really unique format with audience participation that makes the show seem really personal to the city. Um,
Hmm.
Also, just kind of their brand of comedy is really kind of just talking about the foibles of life, and
Hmm.
and so it was really fun. And Steph Curry was there with his
Yeah, I saw pictures.
yeah, so it was just really me and my person I was with, my friend. We were like commenting and like, oh, so Steph Curry just, joins the audience like any regular schmegular person, except the big old bodyguard and
Right.
stuff.
There you go. There you
But
go.
they weren't necessarily sitting in the front row. They weren't like, sitting in special seats. They just, came in, got to their seats and sat, and actually was sitting closer to the stage than he was. So, I mean, it's just really nice. I mean, and no one bothered him. I guess,
Yeah.
he's, local. And just like if you're living in New York and you see famous people, you don't necessarily be like, oh my God, every time you
Yeah.
see them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what. So it was really fun. And yeah, and I came home late. And so now I'm here and ready to talk about
After
GH.
all of that, I love Kevin on stage. Just always, the internet always does its hater stuff every quarter where somebody puts up a tweet like, is Kevin on stage really funny to y'all? Yes. Yes,
Yes.
he is. And also am a person, I know this about myself, so I don't really comment on comedy, which is really funny because we're such good friends with Tara from Port Misery, who's like doing a
Mhm.
whole dissertation on comedy.
Yeah. Oh, she
Can't
is?
believe, yeah, I'm
Oh.
easily offended, actually. I know this about myself. If
Uh-huh.
I do not prescribe to the like, I can say whatever I want to because it's comedy. No, you can get popped in the mouth. I don't like that. So when I find like funny and smart comedians, and there have been times, for example, that Kevin on stage has like gotten it wrong, and
Mhm.
he's not like belligerent about it. He like apologizes and he corrects. And that's all that we can ask because we be getting it wrong, and all we can do is apologize and correct. So I respect that a lot. I like him a
Mhm.
lot. Um, he grew up in church, so did I. So I get the churchy humor, which is probably
Mhm.
why Steph loves him. Yeah, so I'm a fan.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got my hair braided and I watched because my the braider, I'm in Milwaukee, so the braider comes to my mom's house
Okay.
and we watched the entire mini series All Her Fault on Peacock. Tanya,
Oh,
I
which
need you to watch this.
the miniseries,
It's called All Her Fault.
all her fault. Oh, okay.
It's got Sarah Snook from Succession,
Uh-huh.
Jay Ellis, aka Lawrence from Insecure.
Is that the one where she like the only preview or something that you get is like she goes to this person's house or she goes to
Yes,
her child and the child is not okay. Yeah, because that looked freaky.
it is 8 episodes of I'm gagged every single episode. I need
Okay.
everybody to watch this. This is not an ad. This is a
Okay.
request
That's a
because I want you to watch it and then I want you to DM me to talk to me about watching it because
okay.
mm, it was it was the perfect length. It basically was like the length from when she started my braids to when she ended them. We were like ending off at the last thing gagged together.
Awesome.
So
You
that was
might get
perfect.
you might get period. If I do this, I'll be live DMing you. I'll be like, what?
Yes, I want this. People always think I'm joking when I say I want this. When people are enjoying art that I love, I want the play by play. Do not feel like you're bothering me. I want it all.
Okay.
Yes. So highly recommend it, especially for soap watchers. We just love a good character. We love a good plot. And so I just feel like as soap watchers, we appreciate it more.
Yes. Okay. Well, I know what
Yeah.
I'm doing today after church.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. Who was your performer or performers of the week?
Okay. So, you know, this week was phenomenal, and the person I'm thinking about, everybody else is thinking about, but I was like so, excited and juiced when I saw on Twitter and I forgot his name, but somebody was like Jeannie M effing, and I can't say it because it's Sunday, M effing Francis.
Hmm.
Because man, not like she had a wild week and she performed and she basically it was amazing. And so,
Hmm.
we always I just bow down to her. And it was the awesome thing about it was so she also had this interview with Maurice Bernard on his show State of Mind, and they actually at the end of the first episode they were talking about how she had a performance where she was so caught up in what was happening
Right.
that it felt that she felt like she was sending a message to Maurice and he received it. Like they could look in each other's eyes and tell what's happening with each other internally. And I kept
Hmm.
looking for that scene, and I think we saw it, but
Yeah.
it still could come, because just there's so much to happen after this. I mean, there's so many more scenes that we could possibly be seeing in the future that are going to be just as amazing, just as fraught. And
Yeah.
so I'm loving this dynamic between her and Maurice Bernard. And I'm excited about it simply because it's not like they were just thrown together. She asked for this. She's been wanting to work with Maurice Bernard for a long time in a really
Mm.
intense story. And so it's coming out. We can see why she wanted to work with them because they are so good together. So
They
shout
are.
out to Jeannie Francis and Maurice Bernard. Um, just kudos. And then also Amanda Setton and
Always.
Giovanni. Oh my God. And I tweeted
Mhm.
about it. I was like, when that happened, did I squeal like a little girl? Yes, I did. And I was crying. So it was great. So we can go ahead and talk about it. But yeah, those are the four that I just
Yeah.
highlight this week. Oh, and then oh yeah, also um Kelly Tebow because yes, she's been getting on our last nerves, but I think that's one thing that really pulls us in about Britt is she's like such an angry and sarcastic person, but then every once in a while we can see why she's that way. And that came out also this week. She experienced some trauma. She doesn't know how to handle it because she does not trust. And that came out really well on Friday's episode. And whew, yeah, GH, y'all
Yeah.
pulled it. Definitely, I was swept. I
Yeah.
was.
I think Kelly's an amazing actress. I
Mhm.
unfortunately was not moved by Brit, but um, I will say Jeannie Francis, our scream queen,
Uh-huh.
begs. We missed a calling. I saw actually mixed reactions. I love a scream queen situation. I love a over the top, like, oh my God, horror filled, like blood curdling scream situation. My girl delivered. I love me some Jeannie Francis, and I loved what happened there. Um, I loved her, slap slap. I love all of it. Jeannie was delivering. She had like range all week because we saw her be, you know, nervous and upset. We saw her be happy and elated. We saw her be smug and cocky. And then
Mhm.
we saw her be terrified. And I just think to have that kind of week as an actress, like, yes, we are using Laura in the way Laura needs to be used.
Mhm.
So I loved that. Um, and then Amanda and Gio or Giovanni,
Yeah.
such great scene partners. They're like magic together. I don't know how this show struck gold with that. I mean, Giovanni is so like a lovable, actor.
Mhm.
Um, he looks good and sounds good with everyone. Like we had him with Tracy as Janelle or Janelle as Tracy. We had him with Erica Sue as Ronnie. And he always holds his own, but there's such a and they're like everybody has such a softness with him. And
Mhm.
so obviously we don't know these people, but I have to imagine that he's such a sweet kid because it's not easy to have that kind of softness with someone. And everybody has it. And so I really enjoyed seeing him grow.
I think what, I just had a thought. I'm like you said, he has such great scenes and great softness with all the major characters on the show. The one person he does not have that with is Dominic Zampronio, just because of the scenes that they have him in the story. But it makes me imagine that they're probably like best buds,
Yeah.
even though they can't have that same dynamic as everybody else. And so it's just like, it just made me think about that. I'm like, how is it that the dynamic between them in real life versus the dynamic between them on the show,
Hmm.
between their characters? But yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
let's hop into that story first. Go ahead.
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you want to recap it or?
Sure. No, no, I got you.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is early Sunday shift, y'all.
Yes.
So let's talk about Rocco's hospital. Shout out to Tara who gives me these names. And at first I was like, Rocco's hospital. She's been saying that for a week, maybe months. I'm like, Rocco doesn't need a hospital. I was like, okay, it's Rocco's hospital. I
Mhm.
concede.
Yes.
Um, and so obviously we know that Rocco is locked up in juvenile detention, and his siblings who love him all want to confess to take the heat off him.
Mhm.
And we have just like different pockets of those confessions. So we have Danny and Charlotte popping up to the PCPD to confess without a lawyer. Charlotte, you're a Cassadine. Danny, you're a Cassadine Morgan Quartermain. McCall. What are we doing? Y'all know better. Um, but anyway, they go to confess. Um, we have uh Geo and Dante part two. Woo. Um, do you want to break them down one by one? Do you want to start with Charlotte and Danny?
Yeah, okay. So one thought I had about that is that everyone this week has been talking about whether or not Charlotte and Danny should confess. They've been hemming and hawing at it. They've been getting lawyers' advice. They've been getting mobs' advice. They've been, just talking about it. Meanwhile, the kids are just like, whatever, we're gonna go and
Boy,
confess. And so I was just like, y'all need to stop talking about these kids like they are not going to act. These are not just little kids anymore. They are people, they're little people with minds of their own and thoughts of their own, and they're going to do what they're going to do. So if you're going to talk about something like this, that's serious about them, now's the time to include them in the conversations because you don't know what's going to
what
happen
they're gonna be doing
and what
next.
they're going to do. And so Charlotte and Danny decide that, we can't let our little brother go in there and suffer after he made this huge sacrifice for us and getting himself caught. And Charlotte is like a little diabolical Valentine because she's just like, I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I can get away with, and I know what powers I have. We're gonna go in, and I'm gonna cry like a little white girl, and so and be like, I didn't mean to do it, and whatever. And they're gonna
Yeah,
believe me, and and I'm gonna fix this. This is gonna happen. And Danny was the one that was a little hesitant, but he still really wanted to do it. She had a plan and she was going to work it out. And I was just like, man, um, what's the actor's name?
Boozy Burke.
Bluesy Burger. She's amazing. And at first I
Mhm.
didn't want, I mean, I was excited and I was encouraging and all this, but I'm a huge fan of the previous actor. So like a lot of
Yeah,
people like very hesitant to accept new, but she's doing amazing. Yes. So that story was crazy. And Danny was for sure thinking that his dad was going to be super mad that he went and confessed. And you can see it
hmm
in Jason's face. He was concerned.
right.
But he still stood by his son, especially when Danny was like, my mom would want me to do this. And he was like, Jason was like, yeah, probably she would. So, but you're going to have, he was
No,
also
Sam would want that.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Um, it would be it, but he also made it clear on his by his Jason's really good at showing things by his face. And he made it clear that, okay, you're doing this and we're gonna see what happens. The consequences that might be felt, but we're gonna work through this. So I thought it was they're kids. These kids. That's what
hmm
I was feeling all kinds of emotions on that. Yeah, what were your thoughts?
My nephew just hopped out of the room to come talk to me. That's so funny. He always does that as soon as we're recording. Uh, that's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Technical difficulties via nephew. Um, I loved me some Danny and Jason's relationship. I
Hmm.
really do. I think there's something about Jason's like quiet. Jason's very clear that he's raising a teenager who he had not had relationship with. And
Yeah.
I think like you juxtapose that with Lulu, who it's not Lulu's fault. I don't want to put that off on her. Like it's not her fault that she didn't have that relationship with Charlotte. She went in a coma, all of that. But Charlotte is such her own person. To your point, she's
Hmm.
so smart. Like her dad is a terrorist. She's been running around the country gallivanting and being like very clear. Like Valentine didn't lie to her.
Hmm.
So he was like, "This is dangerous. This is what you need to do. This is how we do it." And then he finally, when he saw it was so dangerous and that Lulu was back, he sent her home. And so Lulu tries to parent Charlotte as if Charlotte is a child. I get it, right? Because you missed that time. So I don't know what I would do as a parent if that was my thing. Whereas to Jason is like, look, Danny is a teenager. He's made these decisions. We're gonna talk it out. he got in trouble. What did Jason say? You're gonna call me every night. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. So that's
Hmm.
what we saw from Jason and Danny. So to your point, like you could see the relationship that they had when Jason was like feeling away, it was all over his face, but there was a pride in him of Danny like stepping up for Rock. I really enjoy the dynamic between Jason and Danny, and those actors. It just and it also makes me miss Sam. Like I seeing Danny in that like interrogation room, I'm like, Danny, what you don't know is your parents met here for the first time.
Right.
um, but this is such an exciting young adult cast. And I don't know what it is about, because I'm not particularly impressed by the storylines of the kind of mid young adults, like the Jocelyn's, the Trinas. Like, I don't really care for those storylines. But we
Mhm.
kind of fell in love with them when they were the age of like Danny, Rocco, and Charlotte. So I
Mhm.
don't know what it is about the show that they know how to write for that group of kids, but they don't know how to write for this like next up. It's just a bizarre thing to me. But yeah, so anyway, I enjoyed all of that. Charlotte being like, we're gonna actually tell the truth and we're gonna lie.
Right. We're gonna tell the truth and we're gonna lie and say this man did this to he hit us.
So like Danny was like, are you sure? She's like, yes, I'm actually very sure. Let's do it. I don't know. Did you also feel something when Nathan started talking to them? Like, I'm like, where are their parents? Where's the attorney? I
I
know
did
it's a
after
soap, but I was like, no, no, no.
I did after the fact, but come to find out he did that on purpose so the
Right, right,
confession
right.
would not be usable. But
Shout out to AI Nathan for that.
right. AI Nathan is playing his part. Whether he's
For
real or not,
real.
we don't know, but he's playing his part in the community.
Thank you, Nathan. We appreciate it. I don't know. Um, because I also wish that Georgie was in the story. Because
Yeah,
you remember when they went trick or treating like a couple years ago, it was Georgie, Danny, Jake, and Charlotte.
yeah.
And so we're missing George.
We're definitely missing Jake. Ugh.
I am
But would
missing
Jake
Jake
be,
too.
but would Jake be Geo and
I think so. I
yeah,
think if they bring him back, he will be.
yeah,
Because technically Jake is older than Jocelyn anyway, like in the way
yeah,
they were born, they just never aged him. I think it's also because that actor Hudson is so good. They
yeah.
just never is like they switched over Jake to Hudson, and
Uh-huh.
then he had all that really good because people forget Hudson had a lot of really good stuff with Billy Miller when
Yeah.
he thought he was Jason, and then really did a lot to try to bridge the gap between Jason and Drew when, all of that. So I do wonder this, GH doesn't really do continuity well, but I would be interested in knowing what Jake would think about all of this. Because
Oh
if
yeah.
you remember when Drew got beat up in the hospital, Jake came to the hospital like, our Uncle Drew, my Uncle Drew. We was like, we ain't really seen
Yeah. I'd just be fascinated to see how what he feels about how his Uncle Drew is now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reacting to everything that's happening.
Because
Yeah.
Drew was his dad. But Drew was also, we're kind of getting ahead, but that's okay. Drew was also Danny's dad for all intents and purposes. So the way he's behaving around Danny is kind of nuts.
Right.
But he was like, he had a bond with Jake before he knew he was Jason or thought he was Jason. He had a bond with Jake as Jake Doe, then
Yeah.
became Jason, then became Drew, and they never lost that bond. But he was trying to parent trap Jason and Drew to take them in baseball games and stuff together. So it would be interesting to see
Jake.
how Jake is seeing one, how he's treating Jason, and then two, specifically how he treated Danny, because Danny and Jake never stopped being close.
Right.
They
So,
had like problems, but they never stopped being close. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a tangent, but all about these young adults who are very impressive. I like what they are doing with them in relationship to their parents, where they're
Yeah,
crashing out
yeah,
and they're like, "I'm gonna do it anyway." And then the parents kind of come in and clean it up, but they're not just a function of their parents. They're actually a function of their own story. And
yeah,
we've been missing that from GH a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the next
Um, oh,
confession, yeah. So the next confession is Geo confessing to his parents. I think, and so I think it's okay for us to say that because he's starting to think it right now.
right. Well, let's
Okay.
rewind though.
Okay.
That because the final confession from Danny is that he got that key fob from Britt. And you can see Jason's wheels spinning like, hold up.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
also, in that kind of like what happens, I did enjoy the breakdown of the adults. Alexis and Rick Gold, the like storyline that they had, like the hypothetical of the two of them. I still don't understand why Rick would think that handing over this alibi would have, or this like alibi would have Alexis giving up her grandson, but it was still funny.
Yeah. Well,
I
maybe.
don't, and then we obviously have like Dante and Dante, who doesn't really have a say in what these kids do. He has these two kids he's helped raise, in Charlotte and Danny, and he really doesn't have a say in anything that they will do. And so we have this moment of um Laura of Lulu going to Carly and talking with her about how tough this is. And really was like, what a full circle moment of her like apologizing and saying she didn't know. And you see on Carly's face like the hurt, the history. I just thought that Alexa and Laura played those scenes so well.
Yeah.
And that Carly and Lulu, like it almost felt like an additional way to heal the relationship between these two characters after all these years.
Yeah, I thought they did that very well. And I'm glad well, I mean, I think the story was designed to get
Yeah,
Lou to thinking about it. So I'm glad that she was able to recognize the part they played in doing what they did in Michael. Now, is that going to change her behavior? Because she still goes after these cases or her journalism stories in such a way where she's not cognizant of the responsibility or the or consequences of what she's doing. But at the same time, I'm glad that she acknowledged that how Dante and her handle the Michael situation is parallel to what's happening to her son now. So yeah, they
right,
were great teens, and so
right.
kudos to that.
So I want to hop into what you were hopping into because I think they're so juicy. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Okay.
Dante and Gio, take it away. I want to hear everything you think about this.
So Dante and Brooklyn were in the hospital and they were talking about what's going on with Rocco. And Gio overheard and he just couldn't help himself. He's like, I gotta confess to my role in this situation. So he was like, it's my fault that Rocco did this. And man, when Dante gets mad, woo, he does not hold back. He
No.
heard everything that Gio was saying, and he kind of flipped it to make it seem more diabolical than it was. He was like, "Oh, so you just threw your brother under the bus to impress a girl?" Because Gio, and his explanation, obviously, it came out that Emma was the one who had a vendetta against Dalton and felt like he was experimenting on animals, which we'll learn later. He was experimenting on animals, and they felt that they needed to prove it, but they
Mhm.
did not intend for the children to be the ones to break into the lab. He just needed access to the key fob. But he was like, "Oh, so you dragged your brother into this to impress a girl. You still aren't responsible. You still do not care. You don't care about your brother." And that was the worst part because before with the accident. Gio did not know that they were related. And now that he does know, that's even worse to
Yeah.
Dante. It's like you really do not care about, this family, and so Dante went off. I can't even remember
Oh,
everything he said, but it all hurt. And I was like, it hurt my feelings. I was like, and and it also really threw Brooklyn for a loop. It made
hmm.
Gio just feel horrible, but he also took responsibility for it. Um, he took it really to heart. Um, so it was very tough, but kudos to the Gio, the character, who's like, I can't let people think that had nothing to do with this and let Rocco take the blame. Even
After
though
Sonny was like, "Don't be saying that," Sonny
that's what I'm
said,
saying. Even though people were telling him, do not confess because it's going to end up being worse for you. Um, it's going to all blow over. But, they all thought it was funny because everyone kept saying, oh, Rocco's just going to get community service. Very similar to what Michael went through. He's gonna get a pat on the cheek or whatever, and they're gonna let him go. Come to find out, Rocco is in jail right now, and they throwing the book at him. And so, obviously, after everyone was trying to convince him that nothing would happen, and he trusted them and didn't say anything, now Rocco's in way more trouble, and he doesn't know how to feel good about it or better about his decision. So he's confessing and to Brooklyn and Dante. And the reactions were like Dante going way up there in his anger and Brooklyn just being, disappointed, shocked, but really caring about how Dante's treating her son. And so, yeah, before I go
"Yeah."
further,
Oh, go
my
ahead.
go ahead and share your piece.
So I feel like I was like watching this go down on the internet, and people were being so anti-Dante, and I was like, "Yikes! I'm not really anti-Dante here."
Uh-huh.
I think that Dante did way too much when it came to the alcohol poisoning. I still feel that. I stand on that. That was too much. He thought the worst of Gio. I don't know if he ever apologized for real, about believing the worst of Gio. Because
Right.
there is a part of the alcohol poisoning that was like not particularly Gio's fault, because that's what anybody in that position would do, but also to be like, but you're also older than him and you need to monitor, you need to say something, you need to know the difference between like covering for like a young person who you're in a relationship with versus like making sure that they're safe. Now,
Yeah.
I didn't feel like Gio would like know any better. It was written in a way that like didn't show Rocco like being like that sick. So it was like really tough to be on Dante's side at all with that.
Right.
So I felt like Dante flew off the handle, did too much. The things he said to Gio were like so out of pocket. This time, I will talk about what I felt the day it aired and then the next day, because I think that the conversation that Dante had with Lulu was like the problem. And I'm
Hmm.
glad that Gio didn't hear that conversation because
Oh
it
yeah.
was like, damn, Dante.
Right.
But when he was upset, Dante didn't say anything wrong.
No.
You did bring
Well,
your brother into this. You did act like, and from Dante's perspective, I we have because I don't we don't know what knows of Gio and Rocco's relationship. So it does feel like you have your like parents who are trying to be in a relationship with you, and you have like not done that. But when it comes to Gio, you have been in a relationship with him, and you use that relationship to use him to do something that he wasn't supposed to do. You also I said this when Emma and Gio brought them kids into the story. I was like, I like
oh
how
yeah.
messy this is. This is crazy.
Oh yeah.
And it was manipulative. It's a reason that they didn't bring Trina and Kai into the story, because Trina and Kai would have said no.
Right. It was
You
definitely
brought these kids
wrong.
into the story. And
Yeah.
so I think for and there's something parental about, I'm gonna say this because he's also right. You did this to impress Emma. You would not be doing this if it were not for Emma. I believe it was Emma's idea to bring these kids into it, and you went along with it, knowing Gio knows how Drew has been treating Danny. Gio knows how Dante feels about Rocco. Gio made like stood by these decisions that Emma made because he likes her. That's real. And finally, and finally, there is something to this idea of like you are an adult, you actually knew better, and these are kids that you have like hyped up. So you cannot hype up 15-year-olds and be like, animals getting tested on, you got to do this, you got to do that, da, 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 and be like, just kidding, we're not doing that today. Of course they were going to do that. It's their fault. They have to take responsibility for what they did, but they did not operate with the same information. Emma knows she got in trouble for this before,
Hmm.
and what that meant for her record, what that meant for her being in school. She was not transparent about that. It was just go get this key fob. And so I get Dante having a problem with Geo as an adult bringing Rocco into this. And I think there's another part of being a parent where it was like, you know what? I'm really mad right now. I'm really mad about what you did to your brother. Get out of my sight.
Hmm.
I feel I Parents do that.
Oh yeah.
Parents are like, I don't want to say anything right now because I love you and you're my kid. Bounce before I say something. And that all I was that day, that whole day, I was on Dante's side. Like, well, the next day where Dante was like, I don't know if I should have had a relationship with him. I don't know. That
Oh
was
yeah.
too much. I don't know why
Yeah.
they write Dante like this. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not writing. Maybe it just is Dante the character, I guess. But like, I didn't like that. But the initial like going off on him and being like, get away from me, I was on his side.
Yeah, I mean, initial anger after hearing some really crazy news, you can give someone some slack because that was definitely like finding out that an adult was responsible getting a kid into doing something that can end up ruining his life. Yes, you're going to be angry, you're going to respond. And yes, he was able to pull himself back. But yeah, I'm just like woo, he when he gets mad, he gets mad. And and sometimes he says some things that are really hurtful. Now, if you go back and you apologize and all this other stuff and have regrets, then I can get over it. But sometimes when people just say hurtful things, I'm just like, ugh. So, and we're so enmeshed in these characters' lives. Keep forgetting these
Mhm.
are not real people. They're characters' lives, and so I get, just as emotional and tied as the actual people in the story. So, yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know if that's just like where we experience what it's like being children of Black parents, and then I'm sure there's some sort of dynamic of being children of Italian parents. Maybe Italian
Mhm.
parents respond to things in a certain way, and we all got to get used to the cultural dynamics. And so I was thinking maybe that's a cultural thing of male Italians, or they just really harsh with their children. We see that with with Sonny and his dad and their dynamic. Sonny's hella harsh with his dad when his dad was a horrible dad. And
Well,
so
I mean, yeah, his dad was also
yeah,
like an alcoholic and stuff. So I think,
yeah, but like both Sonny and Dante, when they want to tear down someone, they're really good at it.
Mhm.
And so that's something that they both have in common. But now Sonny's the gentle, I've got wisdom to impart and I love my grandkids and I all this kind of stuff. So
I am calm. Sunny
I'm
is very zen.
I'm on my meds. I'm calm. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm a different dynamic. So,
yeah.
but
I mean, we also saw Lulu telling Dante that he went too far.
yeah.
Lulu was like, "I'm mad at because I think what is missing any time that Dante goes off on this is that he does not ever talk about the responsibility of Rocco and like
Hmm.
where Rocco has like his own mind to make his own decisions. So while I am with him, that when you have your big brother who you want him, because I think that's the other piece of what Dante was saying. He wants to be your family so bad he would do anything for you.
Yeah.
And that I think hit Gio really hard to be like, damn, he's right. Because we're seeing Gio be less mad at Dante and more hurt by what Dante said,
Yeah.
which feels right to me because like that was harsh.
Yeah.
Um, and it hasn't been balanced with love. And so Dante's like, "Oh, I tried so hard with Gio. I don't know if that trying happened off screen because
Like you're trying was this what you're trying? Yeah,
he
because
like got him symphony tickets and that was about it. Like it wasn't. And like they did the thing at the church with talking about Camilla on the day she passed or her birthday or whatever.
yeah,
But anyway, we also then fast forward because Brooklyn is not feeling it.
right.
And Brooklyn is at the hospital. We find the off-screen Ned is okay-ish.
We don't know. We don't even really know the results of the surgery. We're just like,
They kind of said he was okay. So we find out
okay.
off-screen Ned is okay.
Mhm.
Tracy, they like don't come home because he's okay. Michael shows up to like be there for Brooklyn. We find out Michael called Geo to support Brooklyn, and Geo comes. And I know that I want to hear what you think about these scenes. I know that you really like them. So, what did you think about these scenes with Geo and Brooklyn?
Well, first of all, I love that it was Michael that
Same.
stepped in. Well, because we've been talking, or especially you, Tracy, have been talking about how close Brooklyn and Michael are, and that he
Hmm.
always steps up to defend and help her. And so when they were in the hospital and Brooklyn was just waiting and she was upset and all this, and he recognized that, and he talked to her and she shared her feelings and he shared with her that yeah that he didn't necessarily have a perfect relationship with his dad either, but it was his mom Carly that kind of helped him
Yeah,
get a little perspective and just kind of balance that. And so
I liked that.
basically told her that Gio needs a mom in this situation. And Brooklyn was like, okay, so you think I can do for my son what Carly did for you? And he was like, yes. And so she sat and thought about it. He was like, I'm gonna go get some coffee. And then he calls, I guess while he's going to get coffee, he calls and texts Gio and tells him to come. And
Right.
so it became her opportunity to step up for Gio and tell Gio, you know what? I don't necessarily agree with what your dad said. I know there's a lot going on and it's not necessarily all your fault. And basically was a mom, gave him sympathy and empathy, um, said that she was proud of him and all this stuff, everything he needed to hear. And then all of a sudden he's like, thanks, mom. And I was like, I was just,
Hmm.
I was like, what? I was, yes. And then they hugged, and then Michael comes in and he's like with his coffee and he's like, yay,
Smoothies.
smoothies or whatever. So yes, it was perfect. It was definitely a well orchestrated emotional pull from the writers, and it worked, and I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
So yes, it was.
I I love I love the conversation. I I loved Michael just like looking so pleased with himself, like holding the
Yes.
smoothies in the background. That made me laugh a lot. Um, I wish she didn't call her mom. I would just say that that was like my one thing. To me, it kind of like cheapened a little bit of like of what happened. I will say I'm very glad that Gio and Brooklyn are in good relationship. Brooklyn never deserved what Gio was given to her
Mhm.
ever. And the funny thing is, and we'll talk a little bit more about Brooklyn. I've always been pretty neutral on Brooklyn. I'm not a fan, but I'm not like a big fan of hers. The way the Brooklyn has been treated lately, I'm like, I need more for her.
Yeah.
And so this is the first step of getting like more for her. She didn't do anything wrong with Gia. She didn't do anything wrong putting him up for adoption and believing that he was going to have this great life because her mom told her that she would. He did have a great life. Camilla loved him, all of that. I Gio, like the whole like she didn't want me, she gave me a Gio was too old for that, in my opinion. I think you're too old to think that is what adoption means. And so, however we got to like the conclusion with them where they were close again, because it's also not that Brooklyn didn't have a relationship with Gio before. They loved each other as family even before the mother son thing.
Yeah.
So it was actually, and Gio didn't necessarily say it's about Brooklyn, but he said it's about Lois, that he missed that relationship. These people have always been there for him.
Hmm.
And so I am excited to see how they readjust that relationship. I'm really happy to see them in relationship with each other, because Brooklyn deserves it, because Gio deserves it. I think Brooklyn's going to be an excellent mom to him or excellent mother figure to him.
Yeah.
And I hope to see that he doesn't forget Camilla. Because we know sometimes when GH does these paternity things or maternity things, like they did with Trina and Taggart, you forget your parent who raised you. I'm hoping that they actually show an example here of how he can hold both mothers.
And I think once he makes a decision, hopefully, if he makes a decision to start playing violin again, that will
Yeah,
be an avenue of how he really truly remembers the mom who raised him. I wasn't
yeah,
necessarily surprised. I mean, I was surprised that because after so long he'd been so angry that he would call her mom. But I realized that as soon as he actually accepts the familiar relationship with somebody, he'll go ahead and call them like that. So he called Sonny grandpa really quick.
right
He
away.
called you right away, and everybody else, I'm proud, my Aunt Tracy or my grandfather Ned and all this other stuff. He just needed to get over that whole relationship thing. And as soon as he felt like he had that mother relationship with Brooklyn. He called her mom. But I do understand, like, it did seem kind of like a cheap trick. I'm like, it was definitely, um, from the writer, like a writer standpoint, it was definitely something meant to draw out emotions and feel good
Yeah,
and all that other stuff. I did feel like I was being played and put into a position, but I went along with it and I
yeah,
rode the
for sure.
wave. So it was
Yeah,
just like, yes. And
it's
I
because
enjoyed
they're such good actors. Of course, I'm gonna ride with it. I think
it.
also because if you think about when he called Ned grandfather, for example, because like
Yeah.
Sonny, he's actually always known. Ned has been a little bit more
Yeah.
distant, and I
Yeah.
appreciated when Gio said Ned never did anything wrong.
Right.
Olivia has never done anything wrong. And
Right.
so he called Ned, grandpa or whatever in a
Yeah.
moment of like grief and in a moment of like shock. And so that made sense to me. I
Yeah.
think this is like nitpicky, but I also sometimes feel nitpicky around this stuff. Like I am really clear that the soap opera is like we don't have a lot of money, we have like limitations and like things like that. And so what I would like to see us not limit in is continuity and relationship building because that's essentially free.
Yeah.
And so I would have loved for Gio to say, I appreciate you being like this is a very motherly thing to say or whatever it is. The mom thing is fine. I'm happy to move forward with them because we've been waiting for so long to move forward with them.
Yeah.
I think that I've just been browbeat like, let's go. Mom, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Let's go.
Like, mom, it is. Let's go.
Let's go.
um, we also have in this the Brit like a little kind of side note of Brit. So it's like Brit and Emma. Brit like snatches Emma up.
Right.
I didn't care for that. Girl, keep your hands to yourself. And I was kind of like interested to see that Gio like kind of walked away from it. I don't know. I felt like Britt was doing a little bit too much, and don't put your hands on Emma. I didn't like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, he did after he was like, "Is everything okay here?" But and then
Right.
Emma was just like, "I got this." And it's an interesting dynamic that Britt and Emma have. Like Britt is not afraid to do the overly aggressive adults treating a child a certain way kind of dynamic.
Hmm.
She did like that with Britt with Emma when Emma was a little precocious girl and she's still that way, um but it's almost like a very it's an interesting relationship that they have because they very much acknowledge it amongst each other. Like I think Britt knows that when she's going too far with Emma but doesn't care, and then Emma knows that about how to relate to Brett. as the op, but
It's the op.
so they recognize when they're pushing each other's buttons. They know they're doing it, and it's whatever it is. But there was a lesson for Emma to learn from this, and I think she got it from Britt more than she got it from anybody else, which is interesting. Um,
Yeah, she did tell her it don't matter if you apologize. Sometimes that's not enough.
yeah, so
Can I also say, Brent is one of the few people that treats this like that version of the young adult class, like the Jocelyn, Emma, Trina, Geo version. She's one of the few people who treats them all like adults. She was about
yeah.
to blackmail Jocelyn. She was like, girl, you are a WSB agent, so
Right.
give me the money. And now she also like is holding Emma accountable like an adult, not like you would hold Danny, but like
Yeah.
you would hold an adult. And so I think that Emma, or not Emma, but Britt is one of the few people on the show that actually reminds you that these people are, grown.
Yeah. And it probably has something to do with how she was raised. I
Yeah.
think both Faison and her mom did not treat her as like the child that she needed to be treated, did not give
Hmm.
her, grace, did not give her the love and affection that she needed, and basically, traumatized her. She's had that her whole life. And so that's how she relates to kids because that's how her parents relates to her. But yeah, so she's
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about like the way she was raised.
yeah.
I mean, also given her behavior this week, I know why Faison is disappointed in her. Because, girl, you are the daughter of Cesar Faison and Lisa Ulbricht.
A murder should
Get
not
it
shock
together.
you.
No, why are you shook?
Your dad has done some wild and crazy things in front of you.
Mhm.
Why are you acting
And you're
like
and you're a doctor, so you've seen things.
not just wild and crazy things in front of you, but included you in that mess?
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Um, we also have Laura's election. Um, so I had assumed, I don't know, I was kind of nervous. I didn't know if she was gonna win or not. It also made me think about my baby Spencer when he stole the election.
yeah,
I was like, not Rocco getting in the way of the election,
right.
like
Like you
whereas
know
if
what?
Spencer was here, he would have stole that election for his grandma.
Right. Like you are not playing the proper grandson role that Spencer has left for you.
No, right, right. Um, so we obviously start the week off in court. We find out Rocco has this time, or that's how we ended. And then so this week, Sonny runs up on DA Turner like, "How dare you betray my grandson?" But it was a big deal about the fact that Laura was there. It was a big deal about the fact that Laura came to court. So she's down also, and poor Laura. But she runs up on um what is his name? Dalton.
Dalton, yeah.
She runs up on Dalton. And I'm sorry if y'all are watching. I feel like my face just froze. Oh, here we are. I'm here back. I'm back. So she runs up on Dalton, or he runs up on her actually at the polling location. I'm also like, Dalton, is there only one polling location in Port Charles? Why are you here?
I think so.
But he starts going in at Laura, and Elizabeth is there, and everybody is like, okay, this is going, things are happening. Here comes AI Nathan, things are happening. He said something crazy to her, and Laura said, smack, smack.
Right. Like, you like
When I tell you, Laura smacking him gagged me. I was already, I didn't know she was gonna smack him.
You know what? I'm guessing he didn't know it either in the scenes. She's like, look at me. Ah,
And I didn't realize that Laura had played his mom on Y&R.
yeah.
So, or Jeannie Francis had played his mom on Y&R. So that was
Yeah.
like an interesting little throwback because, Dalton is not long for this world.
Oh
And so
yeah.
I guess they were trying to let him go out with a bang.
Right.
So he smacked Laura, Laura smacked him, and everybody was like filming it. And Laura
Can
thought,
I cut in here real quick?
yes,
So usually GH has had an amazing gift of getting extras that really pull you into the story. Like
yes.
you watching them as much as you're watching the main characters.
Hmm.
Now, this audience, they had their phones out, but they weren't as
Yes,
gagged as they should have been that she smacked him. Like they should have been like,
right.
and all that. But
That's why they needed us. They needed us.
I would have been like, ooh, no, she didn't.
I would have telenoveled it. No, they didn't give us that. I
No,
said next time you need girl being gagged in the background, call me and Tanya because we gonna be gagged every time, and we
right.
would have done a great job with that.
Yes.
We would have been great extras. But everybody sees it. So Laura is convinced, even though it's election day, Laura. So like, what are we talking about?
Right.
And like people have made their minds up. Laura is convinced that this means that she's gonna lose the election.
I was convinced.
Sunny shows up. It was like, turns out the elector loves it when you slap somebody up. Smack,
Yeah.
smack.
They were like, you stood up for your grandson.
You should
So
know for
they
your
like,
grandson.
yeah.
We love nepotism here. Uh, and so, Drew comes in talking crazy. As like everybody come in talking crazy. Jordan comes in. I'm like, Jordan, you're still not over it. Comes in and she's sitting with Laura, they chatting, and Laura wins the election.
Right.
Ezra, so oh, go ahead.
So for me, it was just like as soon as Drew comes in bragging and get it all in people's face, that's when I knew she won the election. 'Cause, like
Yeah,
Drew's
for
been
sure.
so wrong all week. He comes in hella hard and confident, like, yes, I got this and I'm powerful and I can make things happen. And then he gets in people's face that I was just
Hmm.
like, yeah, so she won.
Exactly. Exactly. And so Drew face cracked. Love that.
Right.
Love his face getting
Love
cracked
it.
anytime it does. And Measure C at this point is too close to call. Everybody leaves. Lulu comes through like, let's kick it, let's do whatever. And Laura's like, no, I need to do some work. Stick a pin in that. So
Yeah.
everybody leaves. Laura's doing work. Stick a pin in that. We then have um, Dalton, who is salty about everything, go to the brown dog. Timu Dex calls Jocelyn to go to the brown dog to get information from Dalton. He's drunk and is
Drunk
letting it all slip.
it all out.
We find out that there is a separate locate like lab location. We find out all these like bleeding heart liberals don't want him testing on animals, but he needs to. And Jocelyn is on like getting even more information. Like, also, let's get out of here. Emma and Gio come in. They are saving Jocelyn. You can't do this. And with that, we have Team Deck blowing his cover as a WSB. Now, when he was trying to arrest Dalton, I was like, what exactly is a WSB? Can't he arrest him?
I don't think he arrested him. He just pulled him out and said, you're going to come to the off. You got to come to the office and tell, and give testimony or whatever, or be interrogated. But I think he flashed the badge because he understood that Dalton was probably about to hit one of these little kids and he
Yeah.
and need to, take
Was
a,
he about to hit Emma?
huh? Yeah, he
Was he
was married
about to get
to Anna. Yeah. And I was like, sir. He was, drunk. He was all up in his face. He was like, you know what? I'm really tired of you. And so that's when T-Boo Deck stepped in. And I didn't quite understand that it was the badge that he showed because he showed everybody. And I was just like, what is he showing them? But it was enough to be like, Dalton was like, okay, whatever. But it was hilarious because he was like, you're going to come to the office tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And Dalton was like, but I'm busy.
weirdo?
You're hilarious. Um,
So
yeah.
this is what I was confused about. When Emma, at the very least, realized that Josh was WSB, because Josh has warned Emma against this man so many times. Josh was dating Vaughn, Timudex, who now we understand to be WSB, and Josh has all this information. Why wouldn't Emma put together that Josh is also WSB?
Is she still, does she now recognize that Charles was the WSB? Because I thought they had the conversation, like after Gia was saying, I didn't know that Dex was WSB.
Timudex.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
I thought
At
that
the
guy
hot,
worked at the
okay. Yeah.
yeah, but it still feels like they know. Like I'm putting together they know he's WSB now.
Okay.
So it's just interesting to me that Emma wasn't like, so you don't have a problem with that because you clearly was dating him, thinking he was whatever. He was like trying to cozy up to Emma. Like
Yeah.
I need Emma to put her thinking cap on.
Yeah. She of all people should be thinking about that because I think she probably knows the history of her grandma. At least,
Yes.
Anna has been like moping about WSB for months now. And so
Hmm.
I need her to put her thinking cap on about this. And I also need her to put her thinking cap on about why is my grandmother just taken off right now?
Right.
Yeah, like she should be highly suspicious, and I hope, in the future that she does. Like she of all people is suspicious over Anna's disappearance. I hope it
Right.
comes out, like now that this whole Dalton thing has kind of been quote unquote settled. Um, yeah.
So let's talk about it. So so Dalton drunk walks to the launch and goes to Windermere. It is talking cash mess. I'm going to swear.
He came in
Uh,
hot.
came in hot. Britt is there yelling like, "Oh, you lied! You're framing innocent kids!" Da, 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 da. I already told Sidwell, like, you need to cut him loose. He's more trouble than he's worth, whatever, whatever. And Sidwell is like, you know what? You ain't wrong. Ah, I love the audacity of Sidwell as a villain because he was like, "What you mean?
He's
Obviously,
he is the epitome of gaslighting, of manipulation, of threatening. He's that. He's
hmm
kind of like they not Valentine, but the other guy who
Victor."
was Victor. Yeah, he is a way more in your face intense Victor. I think. Um, and I was gagged though, because he's like so like suave and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, Bob, and then he's like, "But you shouldn't be surprised. This is what happens when
You told me to do
you're
this.
the one who told me to do this. You're the one, and so he's like basically laying on thick the guilt of Brett in all of this, you know.
Right,
And I need you to understand that this is what happens when you become more trouble than you're worth,
right. I
basically.
Yeah, it was a shot and a warning, okay? Because he was like, he was like,
It was like I'm doing what you wanted me to do, but I need you to understand that this is what happens when you ask me to do some, and this could actually happen to you as well.
well, it's also the same thing he did to Marco. when he killed that judge, he was like, "You killed that judge.
Right.
What don't you get? When you said this and you did that,
Right.
these things were foregone conclusions." So for
Right.
her, he was like, "What did you think was gonna happen? You told me that this man was not trustworthy. He was trying to take my secrets. He was trying to do this or that. Do y'all not understand I'm an East African warlord? Like, it's like very offensive to him. Like,
Yeah.
clearly, I'm gonna pop you."
Yeah, I knew Dalton was done when Dalton talked smack to him in the stairwell because he was like, you need to back off. And Dalton was like, and I'm gonna do this and blah, 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 and then walked away in a huff. And then the look on his Sidwell's face, I was like, oh yeah, dude's dead. That's it. But he needed him. He needed him for a higher purpose. He didn't kill him off right away. I was surprised he didn't kill him off right away. But now that the way everything's gone down, I see he's playing chess in this game
He's
of these checkers.
he's very much like, this is too much work. Okay, gotta get rid of it.
Yeah.
So taking the pen out of it, apparently they put the body in Laura's car. So Laura is driving. She calls off screen Kevin, who's also out of country.
Laugh out
Laura,
loud at off-screen Kevin because she had the phone. She had a long conversation. Kevin, I'm so excited about the election and I miss you and I blah 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 and I'm gonna call you just like finally everyone finally understands where Kevin is now because before he was just at Beyond the Gates. Now now he's somewhere in another country doing something, God knows what
I
research.
guess Ace is with the nanny. I don't know.
Yeah.
So um, she catches a flat, pulls over, and is like, I am an independent woman. I can change my own tire. She goes into the trunk, and there goes Dalton's body. Now, Dalton's body was very blue, so I'm trying to understand.
Maybe it was I was just thinking it was the car lights, but yes, he was definitely pale. He definitely looked dead.
He was gone. Like, and it's so funny because when Britt tried to like catch and like Sybil was like, I got him in the heart. He was gone before he dropped. Please, I'm a good shot. Don't insult me. It was also like I was like, Lord, that man is dead. Why are you checking for a pulse? That's over. Okay, that pulse is over.
Yeah.
Um, so Laura calls first. She looks and she goes, maybe I should call Kevin. Kevin's on time, can't do nothing about that. She calls Alexis. Alexis doesn't answer the phone. She calls somebody we don't know who it is. All of a sudden, in comes Sunny. I said, "That's right.
Well, yeah,
You
because
called him my boss,
when she made the call, we didn't know who she called. So
right?
when Nathan comes, yeah, Nathan comes first. I was like, oh, did she actually call the police? All right then. But she
Right.
and so she was spooked. She was like, "Oh my God, Nathan's here." What am I like? The look on her face. She was like, and Nathan was like, "Oh yeah, I'll happily, help you change your tire. I'm gonna go and look for your jack or whatever." And he goes he almost opens the hood of the car or the roof of whatever. What's the thing in the back called? The trunk. The trunk. He almost opens the trunk of the car. And everyone's just like on pins and needles. I know I was. I was like, is he gonna open it? Is he gonna discover? And then it also made me think, if he does discover, this gonna be the time that it's revealed that Nathan ain't real Nathan, or what's gonna happen? I was just like very much pins and needles. And then all of a sudden, here comes Sunny, and I was like, that's who she called. Yes.
Hmm.
And Seth
Hmm.
comes in being the fixer now. That's his role. So while Sidwell's doing all the Sidwell things, I'm thinking this is stuff that Sonny would have done back in the day.
Back in the day,
Back
yeah.
in the day. But now Sonny
Not
is not
anymore.
that mob boss anymore. He is the fixer now. And so he comes to Laura's rescue and really recognizes that one, Laura did not call Nathan, but Laura's in trouble. I got to figure out how to get rid of Nathan. And luckily, Nathan gets a call pulling him away. Um,
I took a picture. It was so funny of Sonny's face when he opens the trunk and sees the body. He looks up at Laura like, "Girl." And there's this video that this TikTok where somebody was like, "Would you bury a body for your friend?" And like you cut to like somebody being like, "This hole is not deep enough." I think it was that was Sunny. Would you? Yes, obviously. Well, I wouldn't. I would call Jason. So
Right.
fast forward across town, Brent comes in. Pascal obviously takes her from Windermere. Pascal telling Brent that she was annoying. I cackled.
But he always felt like she was getting on his nerves way back in the Five Poppies, trying to be like, where is my, my electricity and all this other stuff. And he was like, he was ready. He wanted to kill her. So he's just like, he's probably perplexed that she's still alive in the first place.
Yeah. And the other thing that we kind of find out or like that they kind of sprung on us was that Britt didn't fake her death on purpose. That she
Yeah.
kind of thought she died and then she woke up and she was somewhere else.
Yes.
I wonder if that had always been the story because I have found Britt to be pretty obnoxious since she's been back. And
Yeah.
this week has been the week that they tried to soften her.
Yeah.
Now, for me, you will not fool me, but I see if you're a Brit stan, why that would be good for you. So Pascal comes back, is talking to her crazy, threatens her again. He tells her to take a shower. She got blood on her. She takes a shower. She tries to put her meds on, or like do her meds, but her hands are shaking so bad she can't do them. Jason shows up because he knows she's in trouble. He's put together, she has a key fob. She's put together all of the stuff that's going on. He's like, tell me so I can help you. Britt goes on this thing like, you can't put me first. And she had even said to him earlier in the week about Danny, like when she wanted him to like push Rocco forth for Danny.
Right.
She was like, well, you would do it for Carly. And Jason was like, actually, no, I wouldn't.
But then she was like, "Oh, but it is Danny, so that's who you would do it first for." I am I am so sick of her bringing up Carly.
My
And
God.
I'm so sick. But again, I was like I was saying earlier, the way she was brought up, I guess no one has ever, ever, ever in her life put her first in her family. So that kind of explains all that, but it's still annoying as hell. He does not do everything just because Carly tells him to. And it's not, that's not, she sees that dynamic, but she doesn't see the real dynamic between Carly and Jason. Jason will tell Carly off in a hot second, but she don't see that. And so she's like constantly bringing Carly's name up. I was like, Carly is not the threat that you think that she is. Girl, relax. And I'm just like so sick of it. I'm tired. It's very childish. But
I
I
mean, and also like she kind of is. Like I get I'm sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're right. I mean, Carly and Jason are basically that. Yes. If Carly calls, Jason does stop, drop, and roll, but it's different. It's
Mhm.
not that because he is in love with Carly. It's just because they are just definitely very close. They're brother and sister dynamic, blah blah blah. Which is
Yeah.
why everyone was just like, why are
Let's
they getting
hope.
side eye? But it's just she can't understand it. But then she also never really had a sibling or a really close relationship like that in her life either. So she don't understand it. But the also thing is that yeah, girl, you need to understand, you need to share. Not everything is about you. And so she's like, I'm not going to, get close to you unless you put me first in your
Mhm.
life. And I think that's too much to ask of Jason at this point in their relationship. But he's doing everything that he can to prove to her that he cares about her. And she just pushes them away. And I'm like, girl, if you want a relationship with this man, you need to stop doing that. It's frustrating as hell, but
I
yeah.
mean, okay, so here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
One, I mean, I do not like the idea of Jason and Carly together. Their relationship is not sibling coded to me. It's very interdependent, weirdness coded to me. But I think the whole idea of you don't put me first, you put Carly first is that the other difference is that Carly puts Jason first too. And
Yeah.
that there are things that Jason doesn't have to worry about with Carly that he has to worry about with Brett. And I mean, we obviously see Carly being a little bit more secretive around things now with Joss, with whatever. But for the most part, when Britt is like, well, would you do this to Carly? Carly either wouldn't ask or wouldn't have to ask.
Right.
You cannot keep comparing yourself to Carly. Carly is not the only person on the list who's above you.
Right.
It's a long list of people, actually, because
Yeah.
Carly was not the person who called to disrupt this conversation. That was Sunny. So Sunny's above you. His son is above you. Jocelyn's above you. Michael's above you. Like you're in the mix, and being in Jason's mix
It's a lot.
is is still good, even
Right.
if you're not at the top of the heap. So this idea that you have to be at the top of the heap and have to like I don't want to keep hearing that. I get it. I get her saying, dropped me when you need to like marry Carly for whatever. That's still annoying
Yeah.
because yeah, they like fell in love afterwards or whatever the hell that was, but he did it because of the entirety. He didn't just do that
Yeah.
for Carly. He did that for their entire family
Yes.
and like everybody's safety, supposedly. So Brent and this whole like I don't want to hear it anymore. It's annoying. You know that you are putting everybody in danger. You have like made it very clear to Sidwell that you care about Rocco, so now Rocco's in danger. Your presence, your behavior has done.
Right.
I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah, I mean, she's trying to put herself in a position of priority when she hasn't even been in his life that long. Like
Hmm.
how you go like that's like me going on a few dates and maybe sleeping with a guy after I've known him for 2 months and then expecting to be his one and only. Like that's weird. Like he hasn't had a whole other life before me. He doesn't have a whole other family that he's grown up with his whole life. He doesn't have anything else. It's just me, all about me, and that's what it should be. And I'm not giving you anything until you do that. That is just very not, it's very immature to be an adult and expect to have an adult relationship. That's not how life works. Um,
It,
but
I agree with that. I think that it's also you had named this that Britt has never had these relationships
yeah,
before.
yeah,
So end of the day, Jason has. I mean, even now, him moving back to the Qs, he has not let go of like he is. This is another set of people who are in front of you because
right,
even when remember like they wanted the whole thing, Carly wanted the kids and so that Jason did whatever he did for Monica.
right,
When Tracy called him to come home to tell Monica about Drew, it was just, I need you to come home. He didn't ask why, he didn't ask what, he didn't say no. He just came. So the Quartermains are now also in the line of people who can call him if they need something, and he will be there.
yeah,
Britt, you're having this conversation with him, an emergency came up. You know he got your back, and you told him right now my life was in danger. He would figure out a way to be two places at once for you.
yeah,
But you just want to be able to like throw some information out and be like, well, maybe I'll say something, maybe not. And when Sonny calls him with an emergency, have him drop it. That's actually not how things work. And I'm not, and it like again, everybody else would go to him with full stories and say, this is what I need you for.
yeah,
You are like playing double dutch with it and expecting him to drop things for you when you have proven yourself to be shady. And you need that because you never had it, where he has always had an abundance of people ready to love him. And
yeah.
it's a tough dynamic for her. Like
Mhm. The struggle.
the struggle. All right. Final kind of big story to put a bow on everything. Oh wait, also forgot to say, hates Brennan so much, and it is so uncomfortable to watch.
Right. It is. Like she put on this act, but she felt like, woo. Like when she had that. So basically, she goes to his hotel room and brings a bottle of wine so she can reconcile. And she already, I guess, built up this, okay, I need to do this now. I'm going to pretend that I do care about him and that I forgive him. And then tonight's going to be a night we're probably going to have sex. But it wasn't enough, man, because when they started getting down with the get down and she's on the couch and she's looking like, I was just like, man, it's just such an uncomfortable position to put yourself in, but all for the sake of revenge. I guess she's just gonna go and bite the bullet. But man, I was like so uncomfortable because you don't want a woman to feel like she has to have sex with a man in order to do what she needs to do. A woman should want to be in a relationship, want to be comfortable with a man, and want to have make love, all this stuff. I'm very old-fashioned and cheesy about sex. I know some people think sex is just an act. For me, sex is so much more than that. And so to see her engage in that act and not want to be with this man and not trust him and not love him, it was so hard for me to watch. It
Mm.
was hard. But she's going through with it because in the end, she the revenge will be sweet for her. I'm hoping it is because sometimes when Carly does revenge stuff, it doesn't quite work out the way she wants it to. So,
No, it does not.
yeah. So,
I mean, I don't necessarily need the love, but I definitely need you not to be disgusted.
right.
And it was tough for me to watch. I'm like, she is clearly laying here like a dead fish. Like, how is he not picking up on that? And it just made me just disgusted at men all over again. Because
Yeah.
this is actually, I mean, I'm not even gonna get into all that, but this is actually like something that we see when you talk about this. And I, uh, so that's that part of it. But also, bro, aren't you a spy? How can
Right.
you not tell that this woman despises you? I understand that Valentine said that she was his Achilles heel, but
But he is
nah.
kind of sensing it because he's like, felt that you forgave me, but there's still tension. And, for men, sex is a huge deal in the sense like if we're not having sex, then we're not really in it. I guess that's how he's feeling. And so, but she knew she basically had to put out in order to get him to relax. But at
Hmm.
the same time, like to your point, she's not enthusiastic about it. So how come he's not sensing that? And then also, like when we were talking, well, I guess we were talking about it earlier. How come you're not, or I think it was Port Misery. How come you're not recognizing that your woman is flying all across the country? You don't know, and you don't know why. But
Well,
then,
she's apparently lying and saying
like
it's to like
him,
look at hotels.
yeah, to look at hotels. But I guess he's feeling like I need to relax with her because I'm lying to her too, so I'm not going to push her too much. Oh, this
Hmm.
relationship is in trouble, and I need. Ooh. I don't know. And so he's going to go off on, well, in the previews, he's going to go off on somebody, but it's probably not going to be Carly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, but to kind of close out the week on like the who shot Drew stuff, I have something I want to say about how what they're doing with Portia. I actually wish I would have said it up top because sometimes people, um, leave off or veer off of the show. But we find out that like off-screen Portia had like a close relationship with Monica. So which was like a very throwaway line.
Yeah.
So Rick basically goes to Alexis and is like, if you help me with Rocco, I'll give you like a reason that Portia would have shot Drew. And when they're talking about it, Rick throws Portia under the bus with the Heather stuff. And then on top of it, like Alexis is like, okay, well, how would she have been in the Quartermain? And then during that, they're like, oh, well, she was to the Quartermain house twice a week to like catch up with Monica. Or that's what Felicia told her. That
Okay.
she went into the Quartermain house twice a week to catch up with Monica. So to find out that Portia had this amazing off-screen relationship with Monica it bothers me that we never heard about it. Because it's almost like they've gone out of their way to show Portia not in a good light. It's
Uh-huh.
all lies and affairs, but very rarely do we see her being good at her job, even though we know she is. Even when they had her save Drew, it felt like overshadowed, not that she's an amazing surgeon, but that it was overshadowed by some shady stuff. We also don't see her being in good relationship with anybody that's not about something trifling. So like she's in good relationship with Ava, but it's all about like scheming. She was in decent relationship with Nina before Nina threw her under the bus, but it was all about scheming. She actually had like a very pure, sweet relationship with Monica. Obviously, Leslie wasn't there, so we couldn't show it, but we certainly could show her like going in and out of the Quartermain house. We could have shown her in relationship with other people in the Q's house, all of that. But there was a very concerted effort to not show Portia doing that, and I have a problem with that.
Hmm.
Right now it's even like we have um Curtis like falling in love with the baby sonogram, and now it's all Portia's fault because she's not telling him that the baby might not be his. This is all propaganda I'm not falling for.
So they basically used a throwaway history of Monica and Portia to not only um, explain how Rick knows about it through Felicia, but also this sets her up as having means, motive, and access to the gun.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Um, from being such a regular in the Quartermain house. They'll probably make up some scenario that she went exploring, or maybe Monica showed her what Edward had as far as a gun collection, or some wild crazy story to
hmm
explain how she got access to the Quartermain gun to shoot Drew.
right, right.
That's
And so
crazy.
it just annoys me. I just feel like they do Portia such a disservice. They don't allow her to be a full character. And Brooks Portia deserves better than that. So I'll say that. We also have Willow giving Alexis a not alibi. Her alibi is that she was driving around.
Uh,
She is like mad that Michael has Jacinda around Wiley. She keeps referring to her as that sex worker. Willow, babes, you were in a cult. Let's calm down the judgment. Okay?
yeah. And
Calm
then
it down.
yeah, then we have Chase and
And
his.
then we're gonna get there. So Brooklyn is at the hospital holding vigil at her dad's bedside. Meanwhile, we have Chase gallivanting around town to prove his ex innocent on the back of her cousin who just reunited her with her son. Now, I know there are a lot of, so I said this on Twitter. Fall on the Brooklyn side of Shaylin, 100%. I think Brooklyn has been defanged, and there
Oh.
is no reason that we should not be seeing drama between these two characters based on Chase's actions.
Mhm.
I have seen I mean, I see like some of the Chaylin fans like defending Chase online. For me, that's not a possibility because when it comes to these ships, I'm always on the woman's side. I ship Jason. Like, I think the only ship I've ever been on the man's side is maybe Pacey and Joey. And that was when I was in high school. Like, even when Jay Sam broke up that first time, I was like, Sam, run these people to the ground. She was going around checking the whole world, and I was rocking with her
Yeah.
because I typically fall on the woman's side of a breakup or a woman's side of a ship in need. And so for me with Chaylin, I'm looking at them and I'm seeing Chase like disrespect her.
Oh yeah.
That he also is like obsessed with Michael. So he's not even doing what Alexis is doing, which is like looking at everyone, which is always whatever. He is like laser focused on proving it was Michael. And to me, this feels like get back.
Hmm.
And I want somebody to say that to him.
Yeah, definitely. he doesn't recognize, but it's like they're supposed to be friends, and here he is trying to pin it on Michael 100%. Like, dude, um, yeah, I was just so for me, my one of my hot takes was, and I put it to capital letters, WTF, Chase voted for Ezra. I was like, hell no. Now, kind of find out that he lied to Ezra. I guess he lied to pull him in, but I'm like, oh hell no, flag on the play, flag on the damn play. Like, why would you? No, no one should ever admit that they did not vote for Laura in that town. I don't care, except for
Mhm,
Ezra and whatever. But everybody else and the whole entire population should vote for Laura. And he admitted,
mhm,
I voted for you. I was like, oh, I almost spit my drink. I was like, that's horrible. But yeah, I think his every action in this case has been mad disrespectful to Brooklyn. And the one time that she did bring it up slightly, she believed him when he said, well, I do it for you. I'm like, it don't matter. Now we're married. And you're going around defending this woman at the risk of your career, at the risk
mhm.
of, for what? Like it was crazy. Like so yeah, I hope like Brooklyn now that, hopefully that Ned comes through and now that her relationship with Gio is in a different place, she could focus on her marriage and recognize what her husband is doing and put a stop to it.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's also, I just don't believe that a well-written Brooklyn would be okay with Chase going after Michael. I talk about this every week that Brooklyn and Michael have always been close. And even this, like, I would love for her to even say that she has so much sympathy for Willow because Willow is a mom who didn't have her kids. Like I need her to name like why her behavior was as such. I also need her to to hear about the Daisy thing because Chase knows about the Daisy thing and doesn't believe it, and Dante kind of like pushes it to the side and blames Michael for it. I need Brooklyn to know about that and to know that that's why Daisy and Sasha are not there so that she can be on Michael's side. I don't necessarily need them to be broken up. GH doesn't have enough couples for us to be breaking people up, but I need that to be a source of conflict. And GH doesn't know how to do conflict without a breakup.
Yeah.
This is a source of conflict. Chase hears from Nina that that Willow, Chase hears from Nina that she lied about Jacinda, that she like hired a sex worker, that whatever. And he's like, it doesn't matter, I'm off the clock. It doesn't matter what you did wrong. But I thought we was all about truth and justice.
Right.
So now what?
It
Which
doesn't
one
matter.
is it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to him because as long as it's done to protect Willow, I'm like, sir,
Right. So for me, that was like annoying, and that was I just feel very put off by Chase. I feel like this is the same thing he did to protect Nell. This is I can understand him believing Willow is innocent and wanting to help exonerate. I cannot forgive the like laser focus on Michael. I cannot like abide by the like holding her hand and believing that Drew is manipulating her. That was part of the reason that I actually liked the Daisy part because that was the first thing that Willow had done that was of her own volition. And
yeah,
if you remember, both Drew and Nina were shook by it. And so we just dropped that from even Drew and Nina.
yeah,
Sometimes I feel like GH will like just do stuff and they'll go so far because they want to gag us, but then they
right.
don't know how to like pull it back or reel it back.
Or
The
close.
Daisy thing was actually like a really big deal.
It
And
was.
they like keep trying to reel it back because it no longer fits into like the narrative that they're trying to do.
But I think it's huge. I think it's a huge part of the story, and it should
Mhm.
be brought out in court at the very least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because, maybe that's something that, that Michael will somehow let drop to the prosecution.
We'll
If
see. We'll see.
he's pushed too far, he might do that. What
Yeah.
I want to note on this whole thing is Sonny and Carly and Sonny's conversation
Hmm.
about Michael to Carly.
So he thinks Michael did it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and but not only does he think that Michael did it, he thinks that he has changed to a negative. Uh changed so much that he's becoming like somebody that he doesn't like or recognize. And I'm like, I need you to give this man some grace because the way he is partly because of you, sir. Everything that's happened to him and he's reacting. And yeah, I don't like this turn. I don't like Sonny being judgmental of Michael. Of all people,
Mhm.
Sonny needs to be like, whatever Michael has done. I mean, that is the case. Whatever Michael has done, he's going to protect him or whatever. But to have judgment on Michael's behavior, that's too much.
Mhm.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't a fan. So that's it. The only other thing that kind of didn't fit for me was that we had Molly and Cody slow dancing at the Brown Dog. Okay. I think that's where I am with Molly and Cody is that they're not on enough to like have them have a lot of drama. So either put them together or don't put them together.
Yeah, I think they're slowly putting them together.
They might as well.
It's
I mean, we
cute.
do have the Rick secret.
Oh, that's conflict. When that finally comes out, it's not only going to be a conflict for Cody, she's going to have conflict with all of them.
Yep. But now, yeah. I mean, and Rick is also like lying. Like every single person in her life is
Every
lying to
single
her, which is
person.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeesh.
it's going to be a huge story, but I like to see it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. All right. Do you have any hot takes before we get into previews for next year? Next year. Ooh, next week.
I guess the one thing that I didn't write, I guess Jordan and maybe Drew was talking to somebody. And I guess he's like, you're acting like you're better than me. And I just wrote, everyone is better than you, Drew. Everyone.
Period. I was also gonna say it's so funny that not Portia, that Jordan, like, is acting like she can't find anything wrong on Sidwell. Sidwell is all over town just criming, but
Right.
you can't figure it out, Jordan, because you all up in Portia's uterus.
I wrote that too. I was like, she's like, I haven't been able to find anything on Sidwell. I was like, because you're too busy getting your apartment maintenance serviced.
Okay, Jordan, embarrassing.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, next week we only have 3 episodes: Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Okay.
Um, Monday, Sunny makes a grim discovery. Dante makes a promise. Laura receives a warning. Carly encounters Jocelyn. Lucas briefs Elizabeth. Tuesday, a marriage proposal is issued. We know from the spoiler pictures that that is Drew and Willow, which yikes. Um, Elizabeth goes to bat for Willow. Michael is enraged. Nina makes an admission. Britt is appalled. Wednesday, Nathan surprises Dante. Chase and Brooklyn are stunned. Portia has new reason to worry. Lulu wants answers. Stella is on the warpath.
Uh-oh.
We shall see.
Stella's on the worst path. I'm
Well,
thinking maybe when the previews when Brennan is going off on somebody, maybe he catches Jocelyn and Dex again.
oh,
Because
Timu Dex, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I
'cause
don't know.
he clearly told them that they can't see each other anymore, and they're clearly still seeing each other. So
Hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us for our early Sunday shift. Please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, leave us comments wherever you encounter the show. If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave us comments directly on Spotify. You can also, if you're a listener, you can text us with fan mail and we can see it. Or obviously, if you're on YouTube, leave us some comments below. Um, if you want to buy us a coffee, we love that. If you want to buy merch. That'll all be in the description. Send us pictures. We would love to see you in it. And we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.